Alright, well now we're going to look at your breaststroke turn. So I'm going to slow it down as we get towards the wall. Okay, we're coming in on the last stroke into the wall. And that's the one you're looking down a little bit more on, so I like that. I still think you need to tuck the chin a little bit more so that you get the eyes even further down. So the chin needs to be a little closer to the chest, as you see right here. If we tuck it in a little bit more, your eyes are a little bit forward, so we want them to kind of still look down at the bottom. That's going to get you in a better position to come into the wall with. We also want, again, as we talked about body line, a little straighter line going into the wall, and that will help you be a little bit quicker. It's going to give you more momentum into that turn. So as we move forward into the frame of the turn, you want to make sure that the knees at this point aren't turning to the side. They want to come straight underneath the body. So as you're looking here, you can already see that you're turning them here. At this point into the turn, you really want them to be from your hip straight, coming in straight behind you. So we want to think of this more of a back somersault and not so much of a turn where we're rolling to our side. It'll be faster if you bring the knees a lot straighter underneath the body. So you can kind of see they're turned out to the side. That's going to slow you down a little bit. You want to bring them right directly underneath your stomach and chest. Okay, and you're just a little bit to the side. Hand, elbow, good. You're keeping the head down until those knees are getting closer to the wall. So if we can just bring the knees directly under the body, that's going to help with the speed of the turn a little bit more. But other than that, I kind of like your body position and head position as you're initiating the turn. I think it can be down a little bit more, but other than that, it looks pretty good. And as you come into the wall, yeah, so this is the part that I really wanted to talk about. As you go to push off the wall, you can see you got one foot here, and you got your other foot kind of behind it, kind of wrapped around it. So we really want to be in a position where you bring those feet to the wall, and whether it's breaststroke or butterfly or any open turn, your feet should be side by side, and the toes should be slightly towards the outside and up instead of down and cross. It's going to be hard in this position to get a really strong push off, and you want to make sure that the feet are shoulder width apart. They're in line with the shoulders. So I should have my right foot on the wall lined up with my right shoulder, and my left foot lined up with my left shoulder. That's going to put me in a great position to push off the wall. And you can see your feet are kind of behind you and they're crossed. So that's going to make it a little difficult to get your push off to be as powerful as it can be. Coming over with the hand, I would like to see it a little closer to the head. So if we're looking here, I would rather see the hands just over the top of the head, a little closer to the body, instead of trying to come a little bit more wide with the arm. That's going to create a little more drag as well. So staying a little tighter with the hand as you're going to push off the wall is going to help that turn. As you're getting in the streamline, we want the fingers to be interweaved a little bit more so that they're all in a straight line. So as we're looking here, I want all your fingers kind of together on this line, and you can kind of see as you're pushing off, you got fingers kind of everywhere along this line. So we want a little bit better streamline with the hands. And again, if you push off from the side, you're going to be able to rotate to your stomach, but it doesn't have to happen quite as quickly as you're trying to make it happen. So you're crossing those legs and pushing off and trying to rotate so quickly that you're taking away from that deep push off. So as you're pushing off, you're a little bit closer to the surface of the water. And what happens is the water coming in towards the wall is going to be slowing you down, because water that's deeper is not moving, but the water on top of the surface, you've been pushing it towards the wall. So now that you have a shallow body line pushing off the wall, it's going to create some drag and slow you down as you're pushing off the wall. So you want to be a little deeper at the push-off phase, and that's going to be helped by having the right feet position and being able to push off in the right position as you push off, and that'll get you a little deeper. Here your streamline is much better. Still would like to see the chin tucked a little bit more, but as we talked about in breaststroke, this is the line we want as we're coming forward on our breaststroke. We want that back of the head right on the shoulder and right between the arms, so the head's just a little bit lower than the arm, and that's exactly the streamline position we want when you're swimming your breaststroke. Better with the hands there, the fingers are in a better position as you're pushing off. And as we get to this point, this is pretty good. This isn't a bad position to be in. Like your hips a little bit more in alignment, but not bad right there. As you're going to deliver the pull, you want the elbows up a little bit. See how you're straight with the arms? So as you're at this point, you should be reaching out here a little bit more, and those arms, those elbows should be high into this catch so that you're creating that vertical forearm a little bit and getting a little more power out of the pull down as you're coming back towards the feet. And as we pull down, it's a pretty good line at that point, but just would like to see it higher elbows at the beginning. Good push. Now as you're getting to this line, that should have flattened you out. So at this point, you're still a little bit with the feet higher than the hips. What really should happen is you dolphin kick, and as you pull down, that should pull you into a very straight body line. So your feet need to be a little bit lower. They need to be on the same body line as your shoulders as you finish that pull down. And that pull down should pull you into that position. So deliver that kick and deliver that pull down to get you in a flatter position, because you're going to want to go from that to up, and you're still headed a little bit more down, and it's going to be a little more difficult to get that position going upward. You can just see how your legs are kind of floating back up, and we don't want them to float back up towards the surface at this point. We want them to be at that flat position, and then your body will be more angled this way with your hips and your feet, instead of your feet being so high up here right towards the surface of the water. Again, that water right there is moving the opposite direction, the direction you're pushing it in as you're going to the wall. And now you're kind of getting your feet into that draft that's happening going the other direction. So it's going to slow you down a little bit. Again, timing of the head, lifting. So I'm going to back you up a little bit, because your head should still be looking, it should be looking even a little bit more down, and it shouldn't raise up until the hands come past the face. And you can see at this point, you're looking straight ahead. So you're looking here, okay? And we want the head still to be in line, okay? And it should still be looking down until those hands come past your head. So those hands come past your face, they stay very close to the body, and you can see on yours, that's the other part that I wanted to point out. If we go back, those hands should be right against your chest. So your hand should be right here, coming up the body so close to the chest that they're almost touching it, and you can see your hands are down here. So that's, again, another space that you're not in a streamlined position. You're not creating that forward momentum. You're actually kind of creating a parachute with your hands that's grabbing the water and slowing you down as you're trying to come forward into the kick. And that head position, those hands, the head down and the hands being closer to the chest is going to get you in that position. And you shouldn't look up until your hands reach for the surface at this point, okay? And then right here, we want a better streamline as we're reaching for that position. You can see how your feet are angled this way. So that's, again, going to slow you down a little bit as you're coming forward in terms of your stroke. So a lot of areas of improving the streamline with which you're going through the water on breaststroke. A lot of opportunities for you to improve not only your turn, but your stroke, and try to minimize these drag points. And to me, a lot of it starts with body position and head position, and being a little bit more aware of where you're looking and when you should be looking up on your pull-out, or where you should be looking in terms of your stroke. So, good things to work on, and I'm glad you're seeing this, because this is stuff that we're talking about, and I think you're going to have a better idea of what we're talking about.